Heroes. So tonight's call is all about nervous system regulation. I have to tell you, before I learned how to hack my nervous system, there was no possibility, there was no way that I would be doing this. I couldn't even be in a social environment without wanting to flight, like jump out of my skin, run away. I'd be around people, and if I did talk to them, I would be going home and rethinking about everything I said, doubting myself, questioning myself, shaming myself. And I just did not feel safe in my own body. And so that's why I'm so excited to share this workshop with you around nervous system regulation. And we're going to start the call with a little embodiment practice to help us move through whatever energy of the day, energy from the week, anything that's on your mind. We're just going to allow this time to be about connecting with our body and move through all of the pressure, all of the heavy, and release any tension. So you'll need a small space to move around and do some stretching, and we'll get started right away. So first, I just want you to squeeze your wrists really, really, really tight. And then we're gonna slowly release and bring our arms down. So we'll come up and do another big squeeze, and then a release, and come back down. Go up one more time, do a big squeeze, feel it into your shoulders, your biceps, squeeze as hard as you can, and then release. So next we're gonna go all the way up and do a big stretch, reach on our tippy toes. Try to find your balance. And then come back down. And we'll do this 2 more times. Reach all the way up. Come back down. We'll go all the way up one more time. Reach and stretch. Get on your tippy toes if you can. Come back down. So we're gonna move our shoulders back. Try and get a good stretch. And then forward. If you feel some tension, do it one more time. All right, we're gonna do our arms in full circles, forwards. And then we'll do the full circles going backwards. Try to really extend your arms, getting a good stretch, good reach. So next we're gonna clear the energy in front of us. Just move every bit of distraction out of the way so that you can focus and be present in the moment for tonight's call. Go one more time. Now we're gonna reach up, doesn't matter which side you start with. We're just gonna go to the opposite foot and pull the negative energy down and bring back up our gift. We're gonna push all the distractions down and reach back up with a newness. Then at the top, we're gonna go to the other side, push down, and come back up. One more time. Come back up. Next, we're gonna do full circles all the way around. Stretching out your lower back. And then we're going to come up and do the other way. And then we're going to come back up. We're just going to raise our arms up to the side and bring them down. Give a minute to catch your breath. Whatever you came into the call with, we're just going to surrender and be with what is. One more time. Now you can start on whichever leg. One leg is going to be the supporting leg. And we're just going to work on bringing some balance to our body. So it's kind of fun and playful. So many times our bodies are used for validation, for making money, for relationships. And bodies just really like to be observed and paid attention to, but actually from us. We so long for the attention and the acknowledgement from other people. Often it's just not enough to fill our cups. So when we actually become the validation to our own body, this is where we start to live empowered. And this is where we can create this home base of safety and belonging. So we're just going to have a stabilizing leg and bring the opposite knee up. Lean back a little bit like a slide. We're just going to allow any self-judgment to just roll off of us. Hold it for another second if you can. Breathe. And then we're going to keep the same stabilizing leg. And we're going to lift our knee up, but bend it to the side. So you absolutely can hold on to a chair to do this. Hold it for as long as you can. And come back up. Now we're going to do our Superman pose. So again, the same stabilizing leg. We're going to just get into the Superman flying pose. You can, of course, use a chair. Hold it for as long as you can. And come back up. It's also kind of a good workout. So next, the opposite leg is going to be our stabilizing leg. And we're going to start just by holding our knee up, leaning back, just letting whatever needs to slide off of us right now. Hold it. It takes practice. And you'll find one leg is harder than the other. All right, then we're going to go to opposite side. Try to find your balance. I'm definitely having a harder time with this leg today. I'm going to bring it back down. So we're going to do another Superman, opposite leg. Try to find your balance. Oh, I'm having a hard time with this one today. Okay. We'll come back up. So next, we're just going to really become present with our body, and we're going to do some rocking. And I just want you to hold your stomach, hold your body, really just in a very supportive, nurturing kind of way. And we're just going to rock. Allow yourself to feel the comfort of being held and in your embrace. What it's like to be held in your arms. And we're going to rock just till we can find some comfort and safety in that. So then we're going to change positions. We're going to put our hand over our chest and just rock, holding our heart. Sending love to your own heart. Thanking your heart for beating solely just for you. So next we're gonna hold our hips, the back of our hips, and we're just gonna stick our butt out a little, sway from side to side. Remember, these movements are not for anybody else. They're just for you to connect to your own body, to learn how to validate and love and bring belonging to your own body. So next, we're just gonna leave our arms open and out, and as a way to surrender, releasing control. And as you can see in this position, we're not protecting effort. We're actually letting our heart be opened. And when the heart is opened, it's ready to receive love. So then we're going to go into the neck. I usually do this before, but I forgot. So let's just lean our head to one side, really feeling the stretch. And then to the other side, see if there's any tension there. Yeah, my neck is quite tense today. So bring it forward. And then we're going to do another surrender pose. So this time you're going to put your neck, but we're going to lean our arms out first and then put your head back. And lean into it. We're just going to surrender. We'll come back. So we're going to get back into a rocking position. And you can do this if you're grieving or you're going through a hard time and you're feeling so sad and so empty or lost or you're missing someone. You can just hold yourself and rock, just like you would a small child, with as much love for the child inside of you. So next, we're just going to stroke our face. And we're going to go down the forehead, the nose, the lips, and your throat. Do it one more time. And then whatever position was the most comfortable for you, however you need it to be held, just rock yourself in that position for one more minute. Or you can change however many positions till you find the one that is needed for you in this moment. And just close your eyes. We're just practicing holding space for ourselves, for our body. And when we hold space for our body, we're also holding space for our inner child. If you could see yourself with innocence, just like you see a child's innocence, even when they're naughty, you know they're just a child. If you could have that much love and compassion for yourself while you're moving through the states of the nervous system, you will become unstoppable. So let's just surrender one more time. And we're going to set an intention for the call. That your heart would be opened and able to receive and able to release whatever is needed for you in this time, in this space. And that you can move into trust that you are worthy of so much love. So I'm going to bring you back and we'll get ready for the slideshow part, presentation part of this workshop. So before we go into the slideshow, we're just going to take another minute to check into our body. So when you were doing the movements, if you noticed any areas that had tension, that had pain, that had sensation, we're going to actually spend some time with these areas. But here's the secret glue that makes this work. We're not going to try to change any of the sensations. Actually, we're just going to become the observer to these sensations and compassionate observer. We're just going to stay with the sensation, not asking it to leave, but actually welcoming it and inviting the sensation to stay. So what can happen when we're doing this is that we might go back up into the mind. When you're trying to go into the body, what happens is it's kind of scary at first until you get used to it because it's not something we're taught how to do. But it's very empowering when we're able to get into and check into our body. So a sign that you're going back into the monkey chatter mind is that there will be a story coming up around the sensation that you're feeling. Maybe the story is, I got a brain tumor and I'm going to die. Some kind of story where we think there's a reason for our pain. With this, we're going to just allow that thought, the story that comes up with the sensation, we're going to let it be there, but really, we're just going to leave it be and go back into the body, knowing that it's safe, and we're going to stay with the sensation. So I'm going to get you to close your eyes, and we're going to try this for about 1 minute. So close your eyes, and I first want you to check into your breath. Remember, we're not going to change any of the sensations. We're just actually here to notice them. So I just want you to notice how you're breathing. And just stay with the breath. Now we're going to check into a part in the body that is not experiencing any pain. And I want you to just really feel into the safety of that part of the body that is not feeling any sensation. And stay with it. Now, next, we're going to do a full body scan. And We're going to actually look for area in the body that is speaking the loudest. There may be more than one, but the one that is just screaming and crying out to you. If it's a pain, a tingling, a numbness, a tightness, any kind of sensation, and we're going to go to that area where we're feeling sensation, and we're going to stay with the sensation. Remember, we're not here to change it. We're just here to notice it and to meet it with compassion. Now, I just want you to notice, if you went back into your mind already, I want you to notice the story that is coming up for you. Just notice it. And then go back into the area that has sensation. Stay with it a little bit longer. Our resistance to staying in the body is our resistance to connecting to our inner child and to doing this deep inner work. So I want you to notice while you're sitting with the sensation, if there's any emotion that's coming up with the sensation. And actually, you can rock yourself while you're feeling the sensation. And just allow whatever emotion is coming up and trust and allow it to be here. Allow the pain, the sensation, and the emotion. So just stay with it for about 10 more seconds. And I'm going to bring you back. So I just want you to take a minute and notice what that was like for you. And actually, even just spend a minute writing down anything that you noticed, any emotion, what the sensation was, and where it showed up in your body. There's so many ways that our bodies are taxed every single day. It doesn't take much: rush hour traffic, school exams, arguments with your boss, deadlines, checklists, endless things to do. And the world is so fast paced. It's like being on a hamster wheel where you're just running, 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 running all day long, getting constant withdrawals from your body, from your nervous system. Everything is taking from you. And there's just very little deposits going back into you. So we can be running on high alarm. Our nervous system states can be activated. And if we don't take time to notice what state of the nervous system we're in, or we don't take time to recharge, then we are susceptible to all kinds of illnesses, disease, relational breakdown, interpersonal relationship breakdown. And life just kind of loses meaning and we lose our purpose. And it's very easy to lose ourselves. And so This is why it's so important to learn and understand the different states that you're in your nervous system so that you can actually take a pause from the busy and everything that is pulling on you in your life and take time to check back in. Because when you start to live your life from an embodied place, then you are getting to live your life intrinsically in creative flow with what you truly desire. And you start to say no to the things that you couldn't say no before to. You start to see what's possible in ways where you didn't think was possible for you. And your body gets to heal and you get to stop living in the rat race and start living just from a very kind of in the know, empowered place where you become so protective of your body that you just know what's needed for you so that you'll be okay. And you stop kind of putting everybody else um, ahead of you or trying to take care of everybody else and you start to take care of yourself. But it's really hard to do if we're not understanding ourselves as a state of our nervous system because these different states are part of us. But when we're in these states, we think that that's our identity and we live our identity or truth from a lie. So we're going to discover these different states of the nervous system, and we're going to start to see some of the lies of the states of the nervous system. So pain will lie to you. And when we're in any other state besides ventral, the thoughts that are going on in our head are actually lies. And our job when we access the state of our nervous system is to uncover these deep rooted beliefs about ourselves, deep rooted lies. And we get to reconnect and we get to bring back in truth into our body. Sorry, that was my dog. Whether we are triggered, that alarm going off in the body feels as intense as if it was really happening in the present moment. And I'm just reading my notes here. So, a trigger is really an unprocessed memory of the pain of the past. Our current triggers are tied to the past wounds that have not been acknowledged or healed. Our nervous system is designed to protect us from real or perceived danger. Either way, if it's real or perceived, it still feels just like real danger. Our brain's number one priority is safety. It is always on the lookout for danger. This is the primary goal of a human, is to feel safe. When we feel safe, we are in ventral. So if you notice the little triangle, ventral is at the top. When we are triggered, our brain perceives danger and signals our nervous system to respond in sympathetic, fight or flight, or freeze. And so freeze is playing dead, and it literally is like your soul is leaving the body. There's also a fawn response and dorsal shutdown. So we'll go into the fawn response later on in the slides. Dorsal shutdown is very similar to depression. When we are not in safety, ventral, we're living and making decisions that are not based in truth because pain will lie to you. It will tell you it will always be this way. And our pain also looks for evidence to support the lie that it's true. So if we've had a painful event in the past and we're having a current trigger that is triggering our painful event from the past, then our pain from the past that's being triggered by the current moment is projecting into the future that it will always be this way. And this is a lie, my friends. So our nervous system overrides our body, mind, and soul for our connection. When we're in ventral, our body, mind, soul is connected. So, but our nervous system's job is to keep us safe from real or perceived danger. Ventral, so sympathetic and dorsal are actually designed for our protection, and there are times when we need to be in these activated high alarm states, and we'll get into that later on in the slideshow. Ventral allows us to create and live from our truth and purpose, and and to experience safety in our connection with others. Therefore, we need to be able to recognize what state of the nervous system we're in so that we can work with our nervous system to bring us back into ventral, meaning truth, creativity, and safety. Unfortunately, we cannot prevent our nervous system from going into dorsal or sympathetic or freeze or fawn. It's the body's natural response to fear of pain, physical or emotional pain, and real or perceived danger. That is not going to change. That is why we cannot blame, shame, or abandon ourselves when we are in these states. And we can't rush ourselves or fake our way out of these states either. But what we can do is learn how to recognize what state we are in and practice the tools that allow us to move up back into safety. And then this also, as we're becoming more aware the state that we're in our nervous system, we are actually able to put in time and space in between our reactions. Instead of the nervous system response completely taking over and us acting in a way that we normally wouldn't do, we can learn to notice our state, and then we're able to work with it, which allows us to put time and space in between our reactions. State of dorsal feels like depression. We lose our motivation. Our body doesn't want to move. We feel disconnected from everything around us. When we are in dorsal, this is actually our inner child feeling overwhelmed and needing to be rescued by us. The child in us cannot see a way out. When we are in dorsal, we are being run by our child shadow, who has made an identity for us based on interpretation of past events. As the child doesn't always see the full picture because of the limited child mind, it's our job to join and have compassion, excuse me, and bring understanding to our child and the child's interpretations. Essentially, we are bringing on our adult mind or our lover energy to the child shadow to bring in a whole new understanding to our child shadow and the needs of the child shadow. Dorsal freeze shutdown. The underneath lie of dorsal is there is no way out. Things will never change. It's hopeless. The meaning we make behind the shutdown is that we are too broken, too bad, and we believe it. The truth is, we are not as bad as we think we are. We are wounded. Through our wounds, we have come to believe some pretty nasty things about ourselves. What is worse is that often we can't even see the lie we are believing about ourselves. This is what leads people to suicide, when they can only see one side based on the lie of our unconscious inner beliefs. When we are in dorsal, we are not in truth and are operating out of survival. Instead of operating from our truth and self-trust, we feel powerless and hopeless. So whenever you're feeling hopeless, this is an indication that you need a reconnection with your inner child. We can see this as a state of our nervous system. So instead of seeing that I'm depressed, we're going to acknowledge from this point on that I am in dorsal. See, when you feel depressed or say you're depressed, there's no way out of depression. But when you start to see the feeling of depression as a state of your nervous system, there's absolutely a way out of dorsal. We can move out of dorsal with tears, body movement, and understanding to our deepest desires. Allow ourselves to feel our guilt, shame, anger, and heal by a curiosity that says, I still love you. I see your pain. And yes, there is a way out, and it's going to take some feeling of the things that you are resisting to feel, all due to a lack of perception based on the limited views of our wounded inner child. Yes, there is a way out of dorsal. We just need to do some digging. When we are triggered into sympathetic, we first look to externals to see why we are triggered. Doing inner work means first looking within. So we're going to shift from looking outside of us for the reason that we're like super angry or we're in fight or flight. And we're going to start to shift to going within to understanding the root of the trigger that is really happening in us. Because as I said in earlier slides, our triggers are almost always related to a past event. And that's why our nervous system gets activated because it's trying to protect us from the pain of the past happening in the current moment. So, doing the inner work means first looking within. And this is where we're going to connect to our body sensations and we're going to learn how to connect to our inner child. The first step to calming the rage of sympathetic is to understand why it makes sense that we are in sympathetic, to compassionately find the reason why we are upset. It's a practice that once we have settled the rage by joining ourselves to understanding that we are experiencing the alarm. The next step will be to look for the self-judgment. It's sneaky, as we will believe it's truth about ourselves and may be convinced as a belief. So let me say this again. Because of the self-judgment that we're not even aware of, because why we're not aware of the self-judgment is that it's usually become a belief about ourselves. And when we believe something to be true about ourselves, this forms an identity. And unfortunately, this identity is often built on a lie. So when we find the self-judgment, we're finding the lie, and we get to the root of when this lie started. When you find the self-judgment and meet it with compassion, you will get to change the beliefs, which allow you to shift and create a new identity, allowing you to move out of the state of sympathetic or out of the state of dorsal or out of a deep freeze or out of a fawning response, which we're going to come up to after this slide. Sympathetic fight and flight. Sympathetic is a roller coaster ride for sure. When we go into fight, we can literally fight for our dear life, or we can feel the anger so intensely on the inside that it causes us to feel out of control and we need to run. We are frantically trying to get to safety and hide. If a tiger were chasing us, it would be an appropriate response. But what do you think happens if you're in a interpersonal relationship dynamic with someone and you're going into flight? This person and you have a disagreement or a conflict, and every part of you wants to just get out of there. And if you leave that conflict, what you're doing is you're refusing the intimacy that can come after a rupture. So you're missing out on the intimacy of the repair. And it's not your fault, but it's a conditioned program response where you're trying to get to safety outside of you. So I'll keep going with the slides. So if a tiger were chasing us, it would be an appropriate response. But as the saying goes, wherever you go, there you are. we can run and hide for temporary relief. Unfortunately, this response can burn a lot of bridges and cause us to feel terribly alone. Either way, if we can't navigate this from safety, we are stuck repeating patterns and behaviors that are not in alignment with our truth. We are looking at making decisions that we may later regret. And of course, who hasn't made a decision they didn't regret? How would you like to be able to restore your integrity within yourself after this happens so that you're not beating yourself up for years to come? So instead, oh, hold on 1 second. Instead, we can learn to repair relationships, first with ourselves, and second, to have the love for ourselves that allows us to walk away from relationships, people, places, events, careers that don't serve us. Better yet, how would you like to look at yourself in a mirror and say, I love you, and really mean it? Can you imagine what it would feel like to love yourself, really fully accept who you are in this very present moment without judgment or trying to be better or trying to be enough? We are taught from childhood that our anger doesn't have to be tolerated. We are even punished for our anger. When a child feels the threat of danger, they go into sympathetic and may hit. They get into trouble for their nervous system response. Instead of working through the emotion, they are forced to suppress their anger. The message becomes a belief: I'm bad when I feel angry. The belief carries with us into adulthood. Unconsciously, we are telling ourselves that we are bad when we feel anger. If you believe that you are bad, how do you think you may respond? Well, if the shoe fits, you can flip a coin. You can either suppress your anger or it takes over. We fight or we flight. So, freeze and fawn. The freeze and fawn nervous system response comes as a form of self protection. If we live our lives from these states, we will never get to our truth. We stay as the victim trying to appease. Of course, these are legit responses. As there was a time it was needed to save us from something or someone or events that we had no control over. Without awareness of these responses, we will continue to live in a disempowered place, allowing the outside externals to control us, our lives, and our inner world. So the freeze response. Have you ever heard someone say to you that if a bear is chasing you, lay down and play dead? That would be from a conscious perspective. Now try to imagine your body playing dead without you having any control over it happening. You can't move. You don't want anyone to see you or the emotion that is coming up as it does not feel safe. The emotion is coming up and you can't stop it, so your soul leaves the body. This is where imposter syndrome can really come from. It's a fear of being seen. And the reason that we have this fear of being seen is actually because we're afraid that if we're seen, we will be abused. You become paralyzed for a moment in time, which can seem like forever. Then we often judge ourselves how we reacted, even though we never had the control in the first place. If a bear was chasing you, this could be a life-saving move. When you are experiencing this in a non-emergent scenario, we are disconnected from our truth and we're afraid actually to share our truth. We're also disconnected from our power and we are not able to react in alignment with our authentic self. Freeze is meant for our protection. It's not our fault this happens. We can learn the tools to get back to safety from this state. We can get our power back. We can lessen the frequency of the freeze by building an expanding container for our strong emotions. So fawning. Fawning is abandoning our truth to make the other person happy. This response is to ensure our safety and survival. It's also built in when we're not aware of our survival need for belonging. And so if you were in a tribe and you didn't belong, then you would be cut off from your food supply, your water supply, the support and love of the tribe. So often you wouldn't be able to speak your truth because if it went against the tribe, you wouldn't belong. And then your survival needs would not be met. And believe it or not, we still have this survival instinct inside of us. We have this deep need to belong to the tribe, causes us to live a life of self-abandonment. So guilt, not being able to hold space for ourselves when others are having strong emotions, not wanting conflict, will factor into our fawn response. So guilt is the feeling that most people are trying to avoid when they go into fawning, because guilt means that we're choosing ourselves. And if we choose ourselves over the tribe, then we won't belong. And that's toxic guilt. But guilt is the price we pay when we are leveling up out of the survival need for belonging and learning to create our home base of safety inside the body. So when we're in our fawning response, we just want the bad feelings to stop and we'll do whatever we can to get out of it, including abandoning ourselves to make the other person happy. So this is where we are not speaking up. We're not saying how we truly feel. We don't want to upset anybody else. We don't want to confront the other person. And we'll just basically suck it up and withhold ourselves and our truth. The fawn response separates us from healing and becoming responsible for our emotions. We struggle to let our boundaries be known when we are trying to rescue the other person. So this is where we have this conditioning response to meet the other person's needs for our safety. Then disregard our own feelings when we only want the positive and reject the negative. This will often lead to fawning and ultimately self-betrayal. And self-betrayal causes body breakdown, mental health, disease, body pains that have no root. And it also prevents intimacy, real intimacy between two people. Mhm. When our worth and security is tied into what others feel about us, we cannot live in our truth or for our purpose. We also take away from the other person's growth and healing by not allowing them to have their strong emotions. We deny the other person to learn how to love us. So our job, if we're used to fawning, is to really learn how to hold space for ourselves while somebody else is having their emotion, and to learn to create safety so that we don't feel like we're needing to rescue other people. So I'm going to go to the next slide. Ventral. I've been talking too much today, sorry. The ventral state allows us to speak our truth, to regain our voice, to experience soul intimacy where you feel seen and accepted. It's living from the identity that you create instead of living from the one that was created for you. So we may want to always be in ventral, and this is not really the end goal. The goal is to be able to recognize what state you're in, Have compassion for the state that you're in, and then creating safety in your body, which means that whatever state you are in, you can go to this place of safety in your body so that you can live your life from inspiration, allowing the ventral state to help you create, connect, and experience love and gratitude. Not a problem when you are in the other states. The question is, how often are you willing to join yourself in the other states? And that will allow you to create with the ventral energy. And so we're definitely not always going to be in ventral. And sometimes we may find ourselves judging ourselves that we're not in ventral, but judgment won't take us into ventral. It will keep us out of ventral. So we have to find compassion for ourselves when we're in these different states. So ventral is being in safety, being free to connect to others in our authentic self, being free to speak our truth, regardless of the outcome. Actually enjoying being around others because we no longer have to perform for the illusion of safety. This is the state of our nervous system that loves to play and create. It's where we feel inspired to live in our truth when we know our worth. Being in ventral isn't about never facing danger, because we most certainly will face danger or pain. Another word to describe it is like just because we can move ourselves up into ventral, we're not going to experience the pain of life, the challenges of relationships, but we can still lead our life from a creative place by accessing our ventral while we're going through these different struggles of life. And this really allows us to get into a playful, creative flow type of energy. Ventral allows us to trust ourselves, but even when we are in danger, we can return back to safety. And so, when I'm talking about danger, it's again going back to that real or perceived. It's that trigger that's directing us to cause to the past. And when we're triggered and it's from the past event, that's actually calling us forward to heal that area and to come back empowered and back into alignment. And then this also heals generational trauma. So, what would it mean to you to not have to look outside of yourself for safety? Would you love to see yourself as a divine creation? Why or why not? Maybe there's a part of you that doesn't believe that that exists. Maybe there's a part of you that is scared of that. It's something to explore, and we're going to do a little bit of journaling about this. So, would you like to enjoy your life again? I don't know about you, but we only get one life, so we might as well learn to enjoy it. Being connected to your purpose, which brings satisfaction. What would it look like to feel safety on the inside? And how would that impact your relationships? No, we can't change that there is danger all around us, yet we can't deny our power either. When triggered, we can return to ventral by standing in our truth. With a little bit of curiosity, we can see our power. We can begin to choose finding safety from within. So the next part is our journaling exercise. And there was some questions on the last slide, but we're just going to spend 3 to 4 minutes kind of jotting down whatever is really coming up for you. So what came up for you during this call on the nervous system? What state do you think you're in right now? Or what state were you in when you joined the call? Spend some time reflecting on what you feel about the content that is being presented. Write down all your doubts and fears. Next, write down what is possible for you if you're willing to face these doubts and fears. So I'm going to put on a little bit of music for you, and I'm going to set the timer for 3 to 4 minutes, grab myself a warm drink, and I will be back. And I'm excited to hear what comes up for you. You were totally able to surrender your doubts and fears and reclaim the truth of your identity. What would be possible for you? I know for me, I would not be here without surrendering and facing my doubts and fears. This life that I'm creating would not have been a possibility for me years ago when I was taking antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication, and I just did not feel safe in my body. And I'm so excited to see what's possible for you in your life. I got a tickle today. It's really bothering me. So I'm going to give you about 20 more seconds and we're going to go on to the next part. So if you don't have the slides, then you can send me an email and I will send you the slides so that you can come back and do this journaling exercise. All right. And also you can always share like your responses if you want to share your journaling exercise. You can always share on the Facebook page. Right, 1 second. From Victim to Hero's Journey, and I will respond. So this is also going to be a practice that almost I want you to start carrying around a notepad with you. And whenever you're having a thought, or you can take this journal exercise with you, but I really want you to start to pay attention to the thoughts that you're having. I don't really want you to give the thoughts that you're having any attention. I just want you to see the thoughts that you're having as a way to inform you of what state you're in from the nervous system so that you start to identify your thoughts as your state and not the thought as you or your identity. So you may have a home state that you often find yourself in. Your thoughts will reflect your state. Once you spend some time noticing your thoughts and put them into each category, you will notice a theme. If you have more dorsally thoughts, that means your home away from home is dorsal. From this point on, I don't want you to give as much energy. I said this already, but as much energy to the thought is that you are having. I want you to simply identify what state this thought is informing you that you are in. Most importantly, do not judge yourself for being in any state. The next step is to connect to the body sensation that is showing up and stay with it, just like we did earlier at the beginning of the call. If you find yourself going back into your thoughts, just gently allow yourself to go back into the sensation you are feeling in the body. So, my thoughts, do not judge yourself for the state that you are in, my friends. This is how we're going to learn to shift from each state of the nervous system. Take some time over the next couple weeks, excuse me, to write down the thoughts you are having that you are struggling to let go of, thoughts that are causing emotional pain, reoccurring thoughts. See if you can figure out which state you are in. Also notice as you are having the thought, what sensations are coming up in the body. Write down what you have noticed. So essentially what we're doing is we're connecting our thoughts to our body sensations. And it's strange because you wouldn't think that the body and mind are quite that connected. But if you're having pain in the body and then you have, I don't know, an angry thought or a sad thought or a self-judging thought, that pain in your body is actually causing the thought to happen. So if we go from the thought directly into the sensation in the body, and we allow the sensation in the body to be there without judgment and with compassion, what happens for me that I've noticed is that the pain actually dissipates, or it will shift somewhere in the body, or it will just actually leave. So what happens is the body carries our emotions for us, especially when we're used to stuffing these emotions down. And then it lodges in like an arrow, kind of being shot with an arrow in different parts of your body, and it gets stuck there. It's a trapped emotion. And of course, this causes body breakdown and all kinds of problems. But when we're allowing ourselves to feel the sensation, um, the sensation actually starts to dissipate. And then what may come up is the emotion. And as we're allowing ourselves to process and feel the emotion, it also gets to lift and leave. So our body is actually identifying to us through the mind the emotion, trapped emotion, or the stuck trauma that has not been processed, and the body is trying to process and leave because our body is carrying that for us. And so this is how we create a body mind soul connection. When we learn to have compassion and kind of learn how to communicate with our body in a way to bring awareness and understanding to our body. And this is intense, guys. And I'm telling you, I've had weird pains throughout my life. And now I just sit with these pains and I don't try. Like if you've ever been in pain and you're like, oh, I don't want this pain, just go away, just go away. This practice is totally different, where we're actually just staying with the pain, with the sensation, and it leaves. It will dissipate. It's so crazy. So I'm excited for you to try this practice for yourself at home. And, it's sad because a lot of the times we can have scary thoughts and then think it's something bad about us, when really it's just our body trying to connect with us. We're not in the body, so we've been avoiding sensations because most people don't want to feel pain. I mean, who does? And but this is a different practice where we're really learning how to connect with the body and the pain that it carries for us. So I think there's another slide here to go. So my thoughts to determine my state. So I did kind of talk about this here on the last slide, but staying with the feeling of alarm in your body pain or sensation without making a story about it, or when you notice story, that's a signal that you're in your mind, you go back into your body. We stay with the sensation in the body without trying to change it or make it go away. You will notice the sensation lessen, shift, and even find yourself back in ventral. So, where we are speaking our truth and we are not holding back because we've just developed this trust and we've moved out of survival because we're starting to create our own belonging and our own acceptance and kind of our own community in our own body, mind, soul connection. So remember that when we are not in safety, we are not in truth. But we need to recognize our thoughts to inform us of our state of our nervous system. And I know I've said this like 100 times at least during this call because I want you to get it. So you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are informing you of the state you are in, your nervous system state. This is actually an invitation to reconnect to your body. So I'm going to give you a little bit more soul work. Really, I would invite you to rewatch this video, go back and do the questions. Oh, sorry, 1 second. And really actually try to carry a pen and a paper notepad with you so that you can track these thoughts and put them into different headline or different categories of what state. Because and then write down the sensation. So this is soul work I give to you. You can do on your own for your own reflection time. So we kind of touched on it a little bit, but this is where you can go deeper. You can answer all the questions or some of the questions. but I really want you to get encouraged. I really want you to start to see what's possible for you in areas in your life where you've already decided it's not possible. So, what would it mean to live your truth? Take some time to answer the questions on page 6 under ventral and write down your answers here. And then again, you can kind of write down or share your ahas on the Facebook group From Victim to Hero's Journey. You can also write any questions or shares, and I will respond to you. So we're gonna get ready for my favorite part, which is the guided meditation. For this, you'll just need a comfortable place to lay down or sit down. If you have a big family, you live with roommates, just let them know, like at this time, I'm not available. And this is really a practice of learning to connect within your body and to your inner child. So we're going to get ready here and get started in just a second. So I just want you to get comfortable. And before we start, I just want you to acknowledge that you're safe in this moment. That the purpose of this exercise is to actually fill up your cup and give you a much needed refill or a deposit. We're running so hard all day long and we lose ourselves in this rat race. And so this is your time for reconnection. And you can set an intention for whatever it is that you're working through that came up for you. If you're wanting to receive more love, if you're wanting deeper connections, if you're wanting to figure out how to make more money, whatever it is, it doesn't even matter. Just set an intention for what it is you're wanting to get from this call and to get from this meditation. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and we're going to work our breath a little bit. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. So on the inhale, I want you to really focus on breathing into your belly, up into your chest, up into your head. Imagine it's like you're filling up a balloon. And then we're going to hold our breath at the top and then a slow breathing release of our breath. So we're going to take a deep breath in, expanding, allowing ourselves to expand, bringing it all the way to the top and holding it. And then release. Breathe in again. Hold it at the top. Then release. We're going to go again. Breathe in. Hold it at the top. A little longer. Release. Now, wherever you're sitting, I just want you to imagine yourself completely surrendering to the moment and letting yourself feel really heavy, really weighted down. And as you notice your body feeling very heavy and weighted down, imagine that this is grounding you. This is recalculating you. And I want you to begin to notice the support of the chair that you're sitting in, or the couch or the bed. And as you're noticing the support for your body, you start to feel lighter and lighter and lighter. So next, we're gonna reconnect to our heart. I actually want you to try to find your heartbeat and feel it beating from within. You can also put your hand on your chest and just sit with your heart beating. I actually want you to find safety in the rhythm of your heartbeat. So we're gonna start with our feet. And I want you to let your feet feel really heavy. And I want you to start to notice if your feet feel hot or cold or achy. And as you're noticing the sensation, we're going to bring out a light of awareness, a light of compassion, and a light of awareness. And this light is going to feel warm and comforting. And we're going to bring this light around our feet, circling between both feet like a figure 8. And I want you to shine this light on any places that feel achy, tense, cold. And we're going to bring the light, heat up these areas. And we're going to bring this light to our calves, to our knees. And I want you to imagine this light really fitting tightly, going up from your feet, up into your knees, circling around, feeling warmer and warmer. And then we're going to step into this light, shining in a circle around us, kind of like a hula hoop. And just allow it to go from our feet all the way up to the top of our legs. Noticing any sensation as we go. Now, if there's an area that you scanned that has sensation or pain, I want you to notice it. And then I want you to go to the exact opposite leg or area of the one with sensation and notice where there is no sensation. And lean into the comfort of safety. And then allow yourself to go back and forth from the sensation to the not sensation. To the area of the body that's carrying the pain, to the other area of the body that has no pain. And I want you to thank both of those areas for carrying each sensation, one for carrying pain and one for bringing safety. And imagine yourself going back and forth a little faster from pain to no pain, shining your light around the pain sensation and the no pain. And bringing those areas together in union where they both can exist. Next, we're going to bring the circle of light shining around our pelvic area, going around to our back, our lower back, our bottom, and inside our sexual organs. I really want you to shine this light bright in these areas because often there's no safety in our sexual organs. And this is where safety actually comes from. So we're going to learn to feel very safe with our own sexuality, with our organs. Just really allow yourself to feel the heat and the warmth circling around your pelvis, around your back, your lower back, your bottom. And bringing this light up to your lower back, your stomach, circling it all the way around, a little faster, feeling warmer and warmer. And we're going to imagine this light going into our belly button. And as it goes in, it's a healing, warm light that is also going to shine back out through each one of our ribs. And then we're going to bring this light back in through our mouth and release it back out through our nose. And then back into our eyes. And I want you to notice the back of your eye muscles. If there's any tension, as the light touches the tension, I want you to completely let these areas relax. We're going to go into our cheekbones, into our jaw. Really want you to notice if there's tension in your jaw. And then I want you to completely let it relax. Next, we're going to bring this light of awareness into each of our ears. Allowing our ears to listen to the sound of our truth and our voice. Allowing our ears to be opened to hear and to receive what's needed. Next, we're going to go around our neck. We're going to bring this light like a necklace or a chain going around our neck, allowing it to bring soothing, healing, comfort, and freedom. And as this light is around our neck, it's going to go into our throat, And if there's any areas in your throat that feel tight or stuck or restricting your voice, I want you to notice it. And as you begin to notice the restriction, I want you to completely let it relax. I want you to begin to allow yourself to use your voice. Next, we're going to go into our head, just bringing this light like a crown to the top of our head and letting it gleam and shine down our entire body. Knowing that you are safe in this moment, we're going to shine the light down from our left shoulder, down our left arm, and out through our left palm. Then we're going to bring the light down our right shoulder, into our elbow, down our right arm, lower arm, and out of our palm. I want you to feel the energy and the warmth of the light in your hands. We're going to bring this light back into our shoulder blades, up and down our spine, into the back of our neck, and back into our collarbones. So we're going to look into our body for a couple of places. Now, I want you to look into your body and ask to join your body in any area that is carrying anger. Once you've noticed the area of your body that's carrying anger, or even if you're just feeling the sensation, or even if you're just feeling anger, I want you to totally allow yourself to feel the anger. Maybe you feel lied to. Maybe you feel betrayed. Whatever it is, whatever the reason, I want you to acknowledge the anger that you are feeling and completely allow it to be there. We're going to allow the anger to bubble to the surface and come up through our mouths. So if you're feeling it, I want you to feel the anger a little bit more intense. I want you to feel it so intense that you actually are going to move with the anger. So I want you to allow yourself to scream whatever, if there's words, if there's something you didn't get to say, we're going to start with putting our hand on our chest and saying really loudly, I'm here. I'm here. And then I want you to just surrender to the anger. And if you need to scream, or you need to cry, or you need to say something that you never got to say, now's your time. If there is someone who hurt you, if there's someone who didn't see you, if you're angry at yourself, I just want you to let yourself vocalize it However, it needs to come out, just trust that your body will release it for you. If you allow yourself to be connected to your anger. So I'm going to invite you to scream, say what you need to say, and let it out. Maybe there's a part of you that's feeling judged. Will you listen to this part of you? Will you listen to why they are feeling so judged? Will you comfort this part of you that feels so judged? Will you show them the truth about this situation? Will you look to see their innocence? At the same time that this part of you was experiencing judgment, I want you to look with this part of you and see where they were experiencing love at the exact same time. Can you be open to see where the love was coming from? This is where the softening starts to happen. This is where we allow, we take a deep breath in and breathe in that there was love there all along. That where at first we only saw judgment, we now have a new experience where we get to feel love, where there was love all along. And I really want you to take a deep breath in as you feel the love. You're expanding capacity. You're lowering the guard around your heart so that you're able to receive the love. So let's take a deep breath in. Expand it a little more as you allow yourself to receive the love. That there was love where there wasn't love before. I want you to remember and keep this in your heart, to remember the experience of love. So we're slowly going to start to wiggle our fingers, wiggle our toes, allow your eyes to open, and come back. And we're going to take a couple minutes to write down where the love was, where your innocence was, or just anything that resonated or popped up for you throughout this meditation. So I'm so excited to hear what came up for you, what that was like for you. You can share it with me on my Facebook group, and I'm really excited to hear what came up for you. I'm excited for our next call that's happening next Saturday over Zoom, Eastern Standard Time. And I want to send you so much love, and I will see you soon.